Welcome to Right on the Mark with your host, Mark Young. Today, we're going to be talking about graduations and graduation parties. Gee, I wonder why that was a little off note. Welcome to the lovely Kim who decided to join me today. Say hello, lovely Kim.
Oh, hello there, everybody. Mark, thanks for having me back.
You're welcome.
Too long.
Yes. You're very welcome. But I know you're really busy and you got a lot of things going on. But I really appreciate you joining.
Let's just say why you don't want me to be here.
I think we all know why the lovely Kim Takeover cannot be part of the show every week. We all know that. But, this time of year, I'm always reminded of graduations. So just as I said in my lead statement is graduations and graduation parties. It doesn't get any better than that. I can remember my first graduation that I attended, and the graduation party was my brother's. Aside from my mom and dad graduating in, 55 and 53, my brother comes to mind in 1978 from Monessen High School when Michael had a graduation outside of MHS at the stadium. Where was the lovely Kim in 1978?
1978. I was in Roscoe. That's the same year my brother graduated.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It's 1978?
Yeah.
So was that California High School? Where was that graduation? Was it at the stadium? Same day as my brother's?
I think it was at the gym.
At the gymnasium?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
I don't know.
Oh, the lovely Kim. She thinks. She doesn't write anything down, so she thinks.
I mean, even if I wrote it down, what would I write down? I think it was in the gym.
Oh, right.
I'm telling you, I'm not really, can't really remember.
You can't really remember the graduations, but, I remember my brothers vividly, probably because it was the first time I think I ever attended a graduation, so I didn't know what it was all about, so we had really good seats, and I remember videotaping. I didn't do it, but I think my mom or dad or somebody had a camera, I guess a 8 millimeters.
Big ones that you put on your shoulder.
Yeah, so I'm guessing those were 8 millimeters. Is that what that was called?
I don't know. So it was a regular movie camera,
yeah.
not a VHS.
No, it was regular movies. So I want to say it was silent, of course. So, and I remember seeing like Steve Majors walk down, Joey Volpe, and, some of my brother's friends that I used to hang out with, I thought was pretty cool seeing them walk down the aisle, and they walked down on a football field, as a matter of fact, and they had everything strung off on the field, and they had it make a left, make a right, and they had you snake through to go through. So I don't know how many kids graduated in my brother's class, but I don't know, maybe 150 or so. But, that comes to mind along with his party as well. He had a party in the basement, our basement. So I remember having to clean up the basement and get my toys out of the way. So my mom and dad.
In the basement?
I don't know. That's where we had his
Wonder if
graduation
it was
party
or something.
No, I think we just had a plan to have the graduation party in our basement. And I remember my dad painting the walls, and for some reason I remember like a powder blue paint that he was painting to have everyone over. So
Did you have your jukebox?
I think we did. I think we did. I think we had a jukebox. And I remember my mom putting a curtain up. I'm like, what in the world is a curtain for? And she's like, well, that's to hide all the crap. So we put all the stuff against the wall, and then she put a giant curtain across it. It looked kind of cool. It's kind of like where the coffin was behind the curtain, which I never visited because of that trunk.
Coffin.
But
it wasn't a coffin.
Yeah, so that's what I remember. Then I remember taking pictures with my brother in his cap and gown. And one of the things I do remember is I could picture what I wore. I wore the stripe like polo shirt, and I remember what was big back in the day was a gold chain with a razor blade on it. So I had a gold chain with a fake razor blade hanging down, and I made sure that was shown on that picture.
Oh my gosh. Where did you get that at?
Oh, Grant's? I don't know. Maybe Grant's, Hills, I don't know, GC Murphy, something
Fisher's
like that.
Big Will.
Yeah, it could have been Fisher's Big Will or Monkey Ward, something like that. But I remember that. That was big back then, along with the switchblade combs. Come on, switchblade combs, Fonzie made. Yeah, Fonzie made that famous. So that was crazy.
The funny thing is you mentioned pictures, taking pictures. I remember taking pictures with my brother when he graduated. And the first one that I can really, first graduation in Monessen was 1979, which would have been the year after your brother graduated. That was the first year that my dad was superintendent.
Oh.
And I remember we went and we sat in like the front row of the bleachers in the gym.
Oh, okay.
Was your brother's outside?
Yeah, my
okay.
brother's was outside. I don't know so Doc wasn't superintendent in 1978.
No.
Oh, okay, so he probably worked at the school, wasn't superintendent.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he was there.
Principal.
He was
Yeah,
there
he
somewhere.
was there.
So you're telling me you guys weren't there? Doc was there,
I
but
don't remember going. Maybe my mom and dad just went.
well, the good doctor and Jackie. That's a good
But
combination.
I remember being there, and that one stuck out in my head. I think because it was the new school and everything.
Yeah. A couple years later, my sister Debbie graduated in 1980. Can't remember that. For the life of me, I can't remember that. So I don't know if I went or not. I probably went to my brother's because that was the first one. We had a green station wagon, and I remember traveling in the back seat. As a matter of fact, I remember hitting my head. I was so excited getting out of the back seat because I'm like, what is a graduation involved in? But yeah, I remember hitting my head getting out of the green station wagon because I sat in the back seat. And
okay.
But my sister Debbie's, I can't remember when I know when her graduation was, but I can't remember going to her party or the actual ceremony. When my sister Dana, I remember half of hers. I don't know.
Well, I know why you only remember half.
Well,
You were a bartender.
yeah, well, I remember I was a bartender at Dana's graduation party, but the actual ceremony, I don't remember Dana's ceremony. So I might have been working or I was out of town. Well, we were living in South Park at the time.
Right. I remember I was pregnant with Sean, and that's all I can remember is being at the graduation. The bar area where you were was in the garage.
Yeah, it was in a garage. Good memory,
Yeah.
Lovely Kim. Good memory. I remember I didn't set it up. My dad set it up, but he asked that I'd be a bartender, and I couldn't serve any of the underage, of course. So me and my one friend, good friend, Nordique.
Were you carding people?
I wasn't carding people, but I knew the neighborhood. I knew who was of age and who wasn't.
Oh, did your dad had the Beermeister then too,
Yeah, he had the
right?
Beermeister. We had a bunch of liquor out there, so I was mixing drinks. Not sure what I was putting in the drinks, but whatever they ordered, I made it up. So, you know how I am bartending.
Well,
you
I'm
order
sure
it.
you weren't making like Long Island iced teas or
No,
anything like that.
no. But me and my buddy Nordique, we bartended, and it was a good time. And I do remember one particular moment during that bartending, and I still remember that vividly. A lot of things, I remember vividly is Droby coming. So Droby came, and Droby liked the party, and he liked to drink, and we all know how Droby talks. Droby could barely talk when he's sober, let alone when he's drunk. Mark, you're bartending. Oh, hey, Mark. How's it going? Oh, Nordique, you're bartending too. Oh, I got 2 types of bubble gum. I got grape and apple. Marky, where's Mikey? Hey, Marky, where's Mikey at? Hey, mate. I'm like, hey, Droby, what's going on? He's like, oh, hey, Mark, you're bartending. You got any black velvet? I said, what? What? He said, you got black velvet. I said, what? He said, Mark, you got black velvet, the shot over there. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got black velvet. He's like, give me a round of black velvet shots. So I'm pouring these shots, and Nordique's like, well, I'll pour for this side of the room, and I'll pour for this side of the room. So everyone in my garage at Dana's party had a shot that was of age, of course.
Of course.
Of course. The lovely Kim could attest to that.
Oh, sure.
So
I didn't have one.
No, you didn't have one. Nope, you did not have one. So we're doing shots, and it turned into 1, 2, 3. Well, you know how that goes. You folks out there know how one shot leads to 2. And when people say let's go out for a drink, it never means a drink. It always means multiple drinks. But after a couple, I can remember Droby singing. Droby was singing, "She were blue velvet." It was either that or black
velvet.
She were black velvet.
I think the song is Blue Velvet.
Yeah, but he was singing. He was singing that, and if anybody knows Donnie Novak, Droby. He knew that. He knew the big singer in Cannonsburg,
Bobby Vinton.
Bobby Vinton. So he was like, hey, Mark, that sounds like Bobby Vinton. Bobby Benton. My Mikey out. My Mikey out.
Oh,
my
you
Mike out.
honestly should be on video right now.
Droby.
You guys are
Droby.
missing.
Yep, Droby. Rest in peace, my brother. Yeah, so I remember that very vividly in a basement doing shots with Droby and the gang. Good stuff at Dana's graduation. Like I said, I don't remember Debbie's, but, obviously I remember mine. I mean, come on, 4 years later after Debbie's 1984, I had mine. I do remember the ceremony. I sat in the back, so, I'm like, and it was in the gymnasium. 1984 was in the gymnasium, and I remember the good doctor's speech, and you were in the front, I was in the back. And
I was up on stage.
Yeah, you were up on stage, so that was kind of crazy back then.
I got to introduce my dad.
Oh, you did?
That was my part.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, I remember the gymnasium was packed then, and, everybody's just happy to be getting school over with and try to take in the summer and do stuff like that. It's a good time. But, my graduation party wasn't as memorable as other graduation parties, but, I had mine at St. Newman's Hall in 1984. Don't know what time of I'm guessing it was June, sometime in June. One of the Saturdays in June, I guess it was, that we had a graduation party, and do help set it up, and my whole family was there, and things like that. A couple things I do remember vividly is what I wore. I wore these white pleated dress pants and a classic 80s like baggy white and black top, to go with Monessen black and white graduation colors. So I thought that was kind of funny. But there was a lot of other parties that I attended to at my school. So like I had my party, but I would leave halfway through. I guess the thing to do.
You left your party?
Yeah, I left my party halfway. The thing to do back then was to have a party, but then only stay halfway and then go visit other parties because all of your friends had it.
Yeah.
I remember going to Hollywood's.
They would have them all on the same night.
Yeah, they would be all on the same night. So one of the ones I remember is Dave Gaudio's. We went
But
to.
that was Mon Valley, right?
Yeah, it was Mon Valley's. But I don't know if it was the same day as mine or not. But going to Hollywood's and. It was really weird. His was really revved up. I mean, he had professional break dancers, believe it or not. So he had two professional breakdancers, and man, breakdancing was huge in the 80s. So I remember going over there going, dude, Hollywood, who are these guys? He's like, they're like, I don't know, I'll say Jim and Frank, like Jim and Frank, they're professional breakdancers. I'm like, no way. So they broke dance like on pieces of cardboard on the driveway.
Oh my gosh.
And they looked so awesome. I mean, they were in sync, they were in style, they looked the part and everything.
Wow.
They were super thin and they would just dance their ass off. It was just so funny. And I'm after they were done, I was like, dude, you guys are pretty good. He's like, yeah. I'm like, where are you guys from? And they said where they're from. I can't remember. And he's like, do you know of any places where we can go and practice? I'm like, the only thing that I know is probably the Civic Center in Monessen. It's like, okay, good to know. So they weren't around in the area.
Oh, okay.
They were out of the area, but they came in just to perform for Hollywood's graduation party.
Gosh.
So, that was one of my more memorable ones. But, you can never talk about graduation parties without talking about my cousin's graduation parties.
Wait, let me ask you a question. Was your graduation party was not on graduation day?
No, I don't think it was. I think it was an off day, maybe the next weekend or the weekend after.
Because I didn't think so.
Yeah, because we went to California that year, and I believe that's why you didn't have a graduation party.
That is right. I did not.
Wow, the lovely Kim did not have a graduation party, folks. Do you hear that? As many people as the good doctor and Jackie knows, she did not have a party. Well, it makes sense because you would have all of Monessen come.
I know.
All of Monessen. You'd have to rent out the Taj Mahal to have everybody there.
Like our wedding.
Yeah. I mean, you have to start cutting back on the list, and then people just take offense to that if they're not on the list. So where do you actually stop that list?
Yeah.
That's understandable.
You started talking about your cousin's graduation parties. Those were good times.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, come on, 6 kids. So they had 3 in a row.
6 kids in 7 years.
Yeah, so what? They had 3 in a row, took a year off, and then 3 more in a row. And they were quite memorable. You just had bodies all over the place.
By the time the next 3 rolled around, after the first three. The next three, there was a pool too.
Oh yeah, yeah. So there was like graduation parties / pool parties.
Yeah.
And you always had plenty of food and plenty to drink there. It never went. I'll say this: it never went as bad as you thought it would be with a pool and with all the drinking there.
Right.
It was always pretty good. I
Yeah.
mean, my Uncle Joe kept everyone in line, and he had bartenders and he had it catered, and they had people dish food out from what I can remember. But there was a lot of drinking back then.
And there was a lot
drinking.
of sleeping over.
Yeah, well, I mean, can't you have to sleep over. So after one graduation party, you gotta continue it the next day. I'll say.
Yeah.
For sure, that was a good time. One thing I do remember about my Uncle Joe's graduation parties is they'd always have this shrimp dip. And it was a special shrimp dip. And I've never had shrimp dip before. And everyone says, oh, you got to try the shrimp dip. And I forget the guy across the street was the bartender. So the shrimp dip was in the bar area.
Wow.
And he had it out on the patio back by the pool.
So it's dip that has shrimp in it.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it was like...
And you would dip a cracker.
Yeah, he would dip a cracker in it, but everyone raved about shrimp dip. And I didn't think it was that good, but I just went with the flow and ate it and agreed with everyone saying, yes, it was good, but I'm not really sure to this day if it was really that good. It was just different, I'll say that. Not many people had shrimp dip, but Dr. Young's family, they had shrimp dip. We had cheese dip, and Dr. Young has shrimp dip.
For some reason, all the drinking and shrimp dip just is like I think a disaster in the making.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many cakes.
It was. And I mean, I guess it didn't turn out bad. But.
Yeah, it didn't turn out bad, but that was one of the things. And I want to say the neighbor across the street, it wasn't Kitty.
Oh.
It was that Kim girl's father, I think. Her dad was the bartender.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but
Jimmy's.
it was Kim's across the street from like right next door to Jimbo.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Yeah, but he would always bartend. So all 6 of those parties he bartended. And after 6 kids, man, that's a lot of partying. They were pretty much out of the house after that. All their kids went to college and all that. But those are definitely some good memories back then. Aside from that, I could remember our kids' graduations.
Mm-hmm.
Sean.
Well, you missed Erica's.
Oh, Erica's. I do remember Erica's. Oh, Erica had a good graduation party. I remember hers, trying to think. I think it was at St. Hyson's, I want to say. St. Hyson's Church.
I think it was.
Yeah, I remember talking to Tom Trilly there. Randy Marino attended. Some other people were there. My Uncle Mikey was there. He was 80-some back then, and man, he got around pretty good, and he was walking all over the hill going, wow, this is a great view. It was almost like that was the first time he was ever at St. Hyson's, because you remember it was at the top of the hill. Everybody would sled ride down the hill, and we had a graduation party there, so my Uncle Mikey would come and go, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
I think Uncle Mikey came to Sean's graduation party.
I think so.
Yeah, he came to Sean's graduation party, and I guess... that was 2010, so he came then, but I don't think he came to Logan's graduation party.
No.
That was 2017.
Yeah.
So, but those were some good parties too.
We went to West Virginia for Cassie and Raina's.
Oh yeah. Those are some
parties.
good. Yeah, those are some good parties there.
Yeah.
Which one rained? Was it
Cassie's?
Cassie's? It just rained, and they had a tent in the backyard, and it was just sopping wet everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. But going to some of these graduation ceremonies is you didn't have enough seats. You didn't have enough seats to sit. So I remember watching some on TV. So like you'd go into a room that had a TV, so you'd have to watch it on TV rather than being there. So you were there in person, but you watched it on TV. So that was kind of crazy. But that's how they did things.
Well, I particularly remember that at Cal for Erica's graduation.
Yeah, definitely. Yours at Pitt? I remember going to the one at Pitt. My mom and dad came there. Don't remember watching it on TV, but
Civic Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Hefty talking about his graduation. And, you know, you never knew who anybody was because the Civic Arena was huge.
Yeah.
You know, and if
Yeah.
you didn't have binoculars, everybody looked alike.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and you didn't go up on stage. We didn't go up on stage and get our diplomas. You just stood up and they just...
Well, I don't know. I remember Hefty telling a story. I wasn't there, but I remember him telling a story that they would all go in a double file line. I don't know if it's single file or whatever, but they'd have two lines. And the only way you would know who that person was is if you held up the line. So Hefty says that he would stand still for like 2 minutes, and he would let this long stretch of empty people go ahead of him. So that's how you knew that was Hefty.
Okay.
So that was his strat on getting recognized.
I did. I don't remember walking up on the stage though.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he was in I was in a general.
Yeah, he was in.
arts.
Yeah, well, he was
Yeah.
in his
engineering
class,
Yeah.
but that's what I remember there. But I remember the afterwards, like we took pictures and stuff. You know, I'm sure I was in my '80s garb then.
1988.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. But a lot of graduations we went to.
Right.
I mean, that was one of the things. It's like, well, how many graduations parties do we have?
Yeah.
Like, all right, we have 3 this year, 2 next year. Huh? We only have 1. We don't have none.
I
You
know.
So
This
it's like-
year we lucked out. We don't have any this year. But
Yeah, so some
Yeah.
years are kind of lean, and other years it's kind of heavy because
Yeah.
you had 3 or 4 to go to, and you know it's kind of like weddings. It goes
Yeah.
in cycles almost. You know, it goes in cycles. But
Yeah.
Sean's was pretty fun. I remember sitting down forever waiting for Sean's graduation, going through all the speeches and going through all that.
Well, and it was so hot because we were in the gym
Yeah,
because it was pouring down rain. We were in the gym and we were way up high because we didn't get there early enough
Yeah.
to get enough seats. We almost didn't think he was going to, well, not because of grades or anything. We almost didn't think he was going to make it to the graduation because he was already working.
Yeah, he was already working on a pipeliner. And if anybody's a pipeliner, anybody knows about pipelining, they don't want you to take any time off, even if it's for your graduation. And Sean happened to be sick, too. I remember he had strep throat. And,
right.
he wasn't feeling well, so we got a couple doses of Z-Pack in him before he went. I gave him some. And he said he made it through, but, you know, after the hours of sitting cramped in that gymnasium and watching him go up, it was well worth it, seeing him get his diploma.
Yeah, and of course, you know, he's pulling up the end of the line because he's young and
Of course.
you have to wait until the end. But
Yeah.
the one thing that was nice, he was in a row with like just several other people, so we could see him the entire time.
Yeah, of course. And
Yeah.
like Sean, he knew everybody there. So, you know, he's talking the whole time, laughing, having a good time. Then at the end, he brought out the silly string. Then he just starts spraying it around. So I don't know. I guess that was all planned because it wasn't just him. It was everyone else. They decided to just spray silly string.
Yeah.
You know, Logan's was kind of cool. Logan's was outside.
Yeah, it was a very nice day.
It was an awesome day. Very sunny day. Got to wear your sunglasses, and you got to go outside. You had plenty of room. You sat on the bleachers. You know, and you had good views. You had good views. A lot of
you
chairs.
could sit. There were chairs down on the field too.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think we were better off sitting up in the bleachers.
Yeah, I think we saw a lot, and
Yeah.
I remember a lot of caps and gowns, and you know, I guess on top of people's caps, they would put the college they were going to. I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of cool. Like you'd see OSU, you'd see like ASU, or you'd see PSU or Pitt, something like that on the top of their hat. And like, oh, they're going to Penn State. You know, oh, they're going to Ohio State.
And that's another way to be able to see where your child is in
Yeah.
the audience. I mean, in the crowd, because, well, again, luckily, you know, Logan was really
At the
close
end.
to us because
He was at the
Yeah,
end.
he was at the end.
Yeah.
So that was a benefit.
Yeah, and then
Although
we
had to sit there and wait.
Yeah. I mean, then the end was always kind of fun. You know, like at the end of Sean's, you know, you wait and you take pictures in the hallway. So, you know, you wait for Sean, and then, oh, Justin's walking by.
Yeah.
Justin, we got to get a picture with Justin. And then it's like family pictures, and then it's like friend pictures,
Right.
and then it's like hug pictures, and it just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Just goes on. So same thing with Logan.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean came to Logan's and took pictures, and then he took pictures
Right.
with grandparents, and then the family pictures, and then the friend
Right.
pictures, and then of course Logan had the biggest smile I've ever
Oh
seen.
my gosh. That was
He was just the happiest camper ever
Yep,
graduating.
to be done.
I've never seen him so happy in my life. You know, just to get out of school and graduate. It was kind of funny, but I mean, there was a lot to get through. I mean, a lot to get through. high school, I mean, you got projects, you got all the practices, and you couldn't miss any. And, he didn't really have a car. We had to lend him cars to drive to these functions if we couldn't take him.
Right.
So we didn't want to buy him a car just for a month or so. So he just borrowed our car to get back and forth to high school functions and practices and stuff like that. But, that was all good time for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Of course, we can't forget about one other graduation party, the lovely Kim's law school graduation.
Yeah, I also didn't have a graduation party when I graduated from Pitt.
Yeah, you did not.
Why? Because we were having a big party in November when we got married, so I didn't have a graduation party.
No, so you've been left out a lot. You've
I whined enough, and I got a law school graduation.
Yeah, finally
party.
you got a law school graduation party. Years after that, we threw it in our backyard.
Yeah,
we had a tent.
It was nice.
Yeah.
It was really nice. And it was a nice day too.
Yeah.
Whenever we had it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And the highlight of the party was
the dancing gorilla. Yeah.
That's pretty
man.
funny. Yeah, that was pretty funny. But a lot of people came to that. I mean, we had seats, we had a bunch of tables and chairs.
It was nice.
Neighborhood friends, your mom and dad's friends, my side of the family, your side.
Yeah.
That was a big deal.
It was nice. It was catered.
Yeah. I mean, Raldo and Dolly came.
Yeah.
I remember they came. Some of your mom and dad's
we had a good
neighborhood
turnout.
friends. Yeah, we did for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, but
Yeah, it was
a lot
very
of
nice.
a lot of drinking, partying, and celebrating. So that was all good.
Yeah. And that was what, 2007.
2007. Wow.
Yeah.
So 12 years ago.
Yep.
So is that around this time of year?
Yeah, it was
it
in
in
June.
the summer?
It was in June.
It was in the summer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you could see this time of year. You look for graduations and you look for weddings.
Yep. Starts the wedding season. Yeah.
Yeah, 'tis the wedding
Which
season.
we have this year.
Oh, we do.
We have
do.
Raina's.
We have Raina's wedding.
And then next year we have two.
2 weddings or 2 graduations?
No, we have one wedding.
One wedding.
One wedding.
Whose wedding?
Rachel's.
Oh, Rachel's wedding. Yes, we have Rachel and Chris's wedding. Forgot about that. Yeah, there's so many things going on. I'm thinking graduations, weddings. The family's growing. I mean, look at Adam and JoJo. They got 2 kids, and life goes on. I remember, speaking of Adam, I remember going to Adam's graduation. I do remember that.
Yep. Me too.
And Adam
And Rachel's.
and Rachel's. I remember Rachel's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that. We went to California, both at the gymnasium.
Yep.
Right?
No, Adams was in the auditorium.
Oh, the auditorium. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going with your
Rachel's was
brother.
in the gym.
Yeah. I think that was relatively new because he was showing me, Tom and Joe was showing me the outside of the school and like the stadium and the seats over the hill or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember.
It was nice because their school's smaller. It was more, they had more. Remember they had the slideshows?
Oh, yeah,
And the
yeah, that's
pictures of
right.
when the kids were little and then when they graduate, their graduation pictures. And so it was more intimate. A lot quicker.
Yeah, we did have kind of front row seats up there.
Yeah.
For Adam. So I do remember that.
And Rachel's. We
yeah,
were
Rachel's
right in
too.
front for Rachel.
Yeah, definitely. I do remember Rachel's now because we were like, they had chairs on the floor at Rachel's, but then we sat on the, didn't we sit in
we sat in the first row.
first, second row bleachers? Yeah. So we had good seats. And I remember taking pictures and all that stuff after that. But so we had a lot of graduations through the years, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
That's the circle of life. You have kids and they graduate. They move on. What are you going to do?
Oh, yeah. Then you have graduations, college graduations.
College graduations,
No parties.
wow. Yeah, no parties for graduations. But for college graduations, it just seems life goes faster. Everybody graduates faster once you graduate. It's like, wow, before you know it, they're graduating.
Yeah.
And you just knew, you just thought they were 10 years old and all of a sudden they're graduating.
Well, Aiden will become going to his in a couple years.
Yeah, Aiden's.
Get ready, Dana. You got
Yeah.
lots of planning to do.
Well, Logan will graduate in 2 years, and Aiden will graduate in 2
Same
years.
year.
So same year. So right there, we have parties, graduation parties. For sure.
Yeah.
Well, that about wraps it up.
Hey, wait a minute. I have something to say.
You do?
Yeah. Remember whenever you were doing the Droby impersonation?
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, you guys out there, you're all missing it. you should be seeing him and doing this in live or in video. You're missing a lot. Why don't you start doing videos?
You
Why
mean a
don't you
vlog?
Yeah. Why don't you vlog?
You must be crazy if you think I'm going to vlog. You think I'm going to vlog?
Yes, I think you should. Because you're not giving your audience the full
view. The full view.
view.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
Except we would have to, we'd have to be a little bit more prepared.
Of course. Well, I'm always up for a Droby impersonation.
Woo-hoo.
For sure.
All right, but we'll work on that.
Yeah, we will. But that does about wrap it up. Don't forget to smash the like, subscribe, and smack the bell if you haven't already. See you next time, folks.
Bye.